Well, for the first time in 2024, we have ball games to go over. Some teams played multiple games. Some teams played only one game this week. And some teams are still on Christmas vacation. I'm going to break down all this and more on this week's episode, but let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with the Shawnee Saints. And the Saints had their first game with the 2024 portion of the season against Arkansas State Mid-South and fell 75-68. Ladricus Pittman was 6 of 13 from the field and 4 of 7 from behind the arc and dished out 6 assists, leading the way for the Saints. Trayvon Thomas was 6 of 11 from the field, had 4 rebounds and 4 assists, and he also led the way for the Saints. Both of them had 16 points. Miles Lemon was the other starter for Coach Sparks with double digits. He had 13, going 6 of 7 from the field, grabbing 6 rebounds. Osiris Marr came off the bench and added 14 on a 4 of 8 shooting performance from the field and had 3 steals and was 6 of 6 from the foul line. Shawnee bounces back with a 22-point win against Tennessee Prep. The bench was key for the Saints as no starter was in double figures. Marr once again led the way off the bench with 15, going 5 of 9 from the field and having 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Xavier Ball added 13 points with a 5 of 8 shooting performance and 3 trays. He also had 3 steals. The Saints begin their 2024 portion of district play against Olney Central on Wednesday and Kaskaskia on Saturday, but I'll get to those games a little bit later on this episode. In the meantime, let's talk about the Blue Knights, as they had one of the better matchups in the 2024 portion of the season in a matchup perspective, going against Southeastern College in Iowa. Demian Walkup led the way with 19 points, but he had to get 20 shots to get there while only making 8. Darian Lewis was another for Olney in double figures with 11. He went 4 of 8 from the field and 3 of 5 from behind the arc, also having 3 rebounds and 3 assists. Jacoby Thompson was key off the bench for the Blue Knights, having 15 and going 6 of 9 from the field. And like Lewis, he was 3 of 5 from behind the arc. He added 2 rebounds and 3 assists as well. The Blue Knights led by 8 at half, but they only scored 29 points in the next 20 minutes and giving up 41. Their next game is against Shawnee, like I said, on Wednesday night, and then they host the Lakers of Lakeland on Saturday. Unlike the first 2 teams in this episode, the Lakeland Lakers won their opener in the 2024 portion of the season against Lincolnland, winning 67-65. Tyler Chapman was the only Laker in double figures with 15, going 7 of 9 from the field and 5 rebounds and 5 assists. 3 different Lakers had 9 points, with the most efficient one being Enoch Wazel, who went 4 of 4 from the field. Diari Duncan led the way for the Lakers in rebounds with 9, and he had 8 points as well. It was a hot shooting night for the Lakers and a cold shooting night for the Lincolnland Loggers from behind the arc that gave Lakeland the win. Lakeland then traveled to Harrisburg to take on the Falcons of Southeastern Illinois College, who a few years ago dropped from being a team in the district to a club team. The former GRAC and district foes battled it out with the Lakers winning 96-85 Monday night. Duncan led the way with starters with 18 points, shooting 8 of 12 from the field and grabbing 17 rebounds, with 10 of them giving the Lakers a second chance to score. But it was Sean Dukovich leading the way with the Lakers with 26 points, going 8 of 18 from the field and 6 of 12 from behind the arc and grabbing 6 rebounds. Aaron Davis went 5 of 10 from the field as well and dished out 5 assists, finishing with 15. Other players in double figures for the Lakers were Bryson Bond, who went 7 of 13 from the field and grabbed 4 rebounds. So the Lakers now have a tough test as they face district opponent and number 4 team in the country, Vincennes, at home on Wednesday night, and then they go to Olney to play on Saturday. So a very tough start for the Lakeland Lakers in the 2024 portion of the district. The Blazers traveled to Chicago to take on Malcolm X, where they dropped 55 points in the second half, and for the 3rd time this year hit the 100-point mark as they won 100-76. LeBron Thomas led the way with 24 points, going 5 of 8 from the field and 5 of 6 from behind the arc. He added 6 assists and 3 steals, while Chris King came off the bench and going 7 of 15 from the field, having 7 assists and 2 steals, and he too finished with 24. Michael Osei-Bonsu had another double-double with 16 points off of a 6 of 7 shooting night, having 12 rebounds and 9 of them being offensive, and having 1 block as well. Kent King came off the bench and added 10 points and 5 rebounds for the Blazers. And the last player in double figures was Demarion Yates, who scored 10 points and had 3 steals. The Blazers, as I said, take on the Lakers on Wednesday before hosting a Logan team that is scary despite their record. So it's another big week for the Blazers, especially in the district. Well, the hits keep coming for the Warriors as their game against SEMO Prep was canceled. This is the 4th time this has happened for the Warriors, although Moran Valley forfeited, giving Wabash the win. While it isn't a district game, we do have a Battle of the Warriors in GRAC play, as Wabash Valley takes on Wren Lake on the road on Wednesday night, before the Warriors then come back home and host Lincoln Trail and the Statesmen. The Blue Devils took on SEMO Prep and won 125-61. 7 Kaskaskia players were in double figures, led by Kamari Slaughter, who had 22 points on a 10 of 12 shooting night, while Lionel Hodges scored 14 of his 18 points in the first half and adding 10 rebounds. Kobe Wilmoth had 14 points, going 5 of 7 from the field, while Martin Garza hit 4 threes, adding 13 points. Will Vassar had 12 points, and the Blue Devils also had 10 points by Isaiah Tolbert and Eric Price. Kaskaskia travels to Belleville to take on Swick on Wednesday and host the Saints of Shawnee on Saturday. Well, once again, we have multiple teams that did not play, and I'm not counting Wabash because they had a game scheduled. These 3 teams did not have a game scheduled and have been off since December 16th. Logan, Lincoln Trail, and Swick. Logan and Lincoln Trail play each other on Wednesday night, while Swick hosts Kaskaskia. Logan travels to Vincennes, while the Statesmen travel to Wabash Valley, and the Blue Storm, while not a district game, plays Wren Lake. So it's going to be very interesting for these 3 teams, as I believe it's going to be a battle of Rest versus Rust coming up. So with the recap of the portion done, let's go ahead and jump into our games this week. Let's go ahead and jump into OCC at Shawnee. I think this is going to be a big statement game for OCC if they can come out and dominate the boards. If Walkup can have a dominant night like he's been having, it all just determines if Olney takes control of this ball game. Then they might see themselves back into the top 25. They fell out this week because of their loss. It's going to be very interesting to see if with this win against Shawnee and their win, if they beat Lakeland, if they go back into the top 25. For the Saints, on the other hand, they're going to have to stop Walkup. They're going to take Damian Walkup out and force other Knights to try to beat you. I think that's the way you got to do it. Yes, you got to worry about Darian Lewis, but that's really the only other player that I've seen multiple times here. As I recap these games, those 2 are your big targets. If you're able to stop them, you get to control how you run things, and I think that's what Coach Sparks likes to do, is that he likes to control things when it comes to running his offense, running his sets, and all that stuff. Something he didn't see when he played Vincennes. Hopefully he'll be able to see it against Olney. With that being said, I still have the Blue Devils winning this ball game. I think they just have a little bit more to play for. It's a district game. Yes, everybody gets up for those, but this shows that Coach Glash and his team is not just a 1 or 2 weeks in the top 25 and then falls out like everybody else. Let's go ahead and talk about Lincoln Trail versus Logan. Yes, Logan got a good win against Wabash Valley before the break, but it's going to be very tough when you've been off since December 16th. Both these teams have. So they're on equal footing here. They have been off it's going to be a very big question of rest versus rust. It just all determines. I'm going to give Logan the advantage here just based off of the type of teams that they've played leading up to this matchup. I said in my Vincennes recap that Logan is scary despite their record, and that is very true. They have had a loaded schedule this year, and to top everything else off, they are the defending national champions. So you don't think they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, especially after the way the first semester ended for them? I give this one to Logan, but if Lincoln Trail can show up and get off the bus, I think it's going to be a very good matchup. And let's go ahead and jump into Kaskaskia versus Swick. Again, Swick hasn't played since December 16th. Kaskaskia played Sunday, January 7th, against a prep school. So, while Kaskaskia has seen gameplay since the weekend, or since the break, it's and no disrespect to CMO Prep, you're not going to get the same Division I competition that you will this week against Swick. It's going to be very interesting to see. Kaskaskia likes to fly up and down the floor like Logan does at times, and Swick was able to handle Logan a little bit better. But it's going to be, can Swick slow down Kaskaskia enough and take Kamari Slaughter out of the game? You take Kamari Slaughter, just like you take Walkup out for the Knights, you get a better chance. And Slaughter has shown where he can be streaky and have an off night. So that's going to be your key, is to get Slaughter to have an off night, and you get a better chance. That still being said, Kaskaskia still has only a couple of losses on the year. They are a 10-plus win team going into this game, and I just don't see them falling to Swick. Now, Belleville is a tough place to play, so I think it's going to be closer than 10 points, but I just don't see Kaskaskia falling after that. Go ahead and talk about Wabash Valley and Rend Lake. Even though this isn't a district game, this is a GRAC game, and for me, it's going to be, as I cover more of Rend Lake, I'll get to know them a little bit better. For me, I just don't know enough about this matchup to really say, oh, the Lakers are going to control the boards or they're going to be able to run and gun, because that's not how they've played the last this entire year. They haven't played that way. This is their third coach in 3 years. Each coach has had a different method to their madness, and I just don't know what's going to happen here. I'll give Wabash the win just because they're a district opponent. And the final game on Wednesday is VU versus Lakeland that we're going to cover. And for this game, it's going to be all about which Vincennes team shows up. Is it going to be the team that takes on Malcolm X and handles them perfectly? Or is it going to be a team that struggles? Now, with all that being said, the Lakelers are a very tough team. They like to run it a little bit more. They like to have a quick possession, get their shot off quickly, and then get back on defense. So if you box out, I think Michael Osei-Bonsu can have a big game here. For the Lakers, it's going to be all about Tyler Chapman and seeing if he can have a big game like he has the last couple of times we talked about it. But I just see just too many weapons for Vincennes. You have LeBron Thomas, Michael Osei-Bonsu, Chris King, if he's right, can be a threat. And again, for the Lakers, it's just more of, you have Tyler Chapman and you have Derari Duncan, who's that third guy. And you've had a rotation of them, which is good when you leading up into it, but now you're in district play. Now you are seeing district opponents every week. How does that translate from November, December into January basketball, where you see a lot of district opponents? And I just don't see that for Lakeland. Vincennes, number 4 team in the country. I think that's going to give more ammunition to Lakeland, and I think they're going to come out and hit Vincennes in the mouth. But I just think that Coach Franklin is going to be able to sit them down, talk to them maybe at halftime, and Vincennes is going to take it out in the second half and pull away with a very impressive road win. With all the Wednesday games being now covered, let's jump into the Saturday games. And the first Saturday game is going to be Lincoln Trail versus Wabash Valley. I'm going to probably give this to the Statesmen, although they are going to be more both these teams haven't played since December. Let's just put it out there. And so both these teams are going to have their first game in quite a long time on Wednesday. Who's going to have the fresher legs for this game? And I think Lincoln Trail might get it. I wouldn't be surprised if Wabash comes out and surprises people like they did to me when I thought Shawnee was going to run over them. Wabash played hard, played smart, and was able to get a win there. And then they played Logan down to the last 5 minutes before Logan pulled away in their game. So it's going to be, with that being said, I mean, who knows with this one. Both these teams haven't played in a while. Wabash has had 4 games canceled on them. It's a toss-up on this one. I'll give it to... You know what? I changed my mind. I'm going to give it to the Warriors just for that reason. So this next game is going to be very tricky because you have Lakeland against Olney. Both these teams like to run up and down the floor. Both these teams like to grab rebounds and control the game. Both these teams are coming off very hard games. Olney with Shawnee and Lakeland with Vincennes. With that being said, I'll give Olney the win here because I think they have a little bit more to play for. They're more concerned about playing together as a team than I think Lakeland is. Now, with all that being said, by the time this goes up and I've been able to watch the Vincennes-Lakeland game, Lakeland might be a better team. I don't know. I just haven't seen enough of them consistently being that team. Yes, they won their game in 2024, their opener against Lincoln Land, but they only won that by 2 points, and it really was only because of a 29% shooting performance by the Loggers from behind the arc, while Lakeland scored 50% from behind the arc and on the floor. With that being so, I think I'll give it to Olney just because this is in the dungeon, and I think they have a little bit more playing for than Lakeland, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is within 10 points. Shawnee versus Kaskaskia is going to be our next game that we discuss here. And it's going to be, can the Saints bounce back? Or are they going to fold? It is really that simple. Kaskaskia is a good team, especially on their home floor. It is going to be about, can you keep your mind right? Can you keep your mind in the game enough to not fold when Kaskaskia goes on a run? I've seen that with them, with the Saints, where a team goes on the run and they speed their game up a little bit faster and they turn the ball over a little bit more. That happened against Vincennes. That I think that will happen against Olney when Olney goes on a run. Shawnee likes to answer quickly, and sometimes that's not the best thing. You got to work the shot clock. You got to be able to work your offense the way Coach Sparks has it designed. It's going to be, what can these players do to buy into Coach Sparks by the time they play Kaskaskia? If they buy in, they can win a lot of games, and they have won a lot of games in November. But now you're getting into the nitty-gritty part of the season where you're seeing everybody for the first time in district play, and then you got to see them again in a few weeks. So I think that I'll give this one to Kaskaskia just because it's on their home floor, but I wouldn't be surprised if later on when Shawnee plays them again, that Shawnee runs them out of the gym, because Kaskaskia has had a problem this year playing a team a second time. Simmons College notwithstanding. The second time around, Kaskaskia plays them different, or they get played differently, and it does not turn out well for the Blue Devils. But for this one, I'll give it to Kaskaskia simply because they're at home. This is going to be the marquee matchup of the district for this week. Logan at Vincennes. Logan has had a gauntlet of a schedule. Vincennes has had a gauntlet of a schedule going into this matchup. Both teams have played ranked teams multiple times. Logan, not so lucky. Vincennes, a little bit luckier. What is this game going to be like? Can Vincennes get up for this style of game? If they can, they control their destiny here. Both these teams are unbeaten going into this week of district play. It is going to be about, can Vincennes control their emotions enough in a big-time situation, being the number 4 team in the country, or does Logan get up with Coach Tyler Smith-Peters, go to Vincennes and control their emotions enough to beat the number 4 team on their home floor? That is going to be the biggest question, and honestly, I don't know. Both these teams are impressive. Both these teams should win a lot of games in this district. Both these teams have won a lot of games in this district in the past. The district championship game was Logan versus Vincennes. 3 different times since Vincennes has been in this district. It's going to be a very fun game. It's going to be a very interesting game. I think Vincennes can pull this out, but they need to control their emotions. If they don't, Logan's going to run over them. So, Swick versus Rend Lake. Again, I just don't know much about Rend Lake. Going by the numbers, they're having a down year. I know they won a national title 10 years ago. I know they're normally competitive in the GRAC, but I think it's just for the fact that they're a Division II team. In a Division I league, it is difficult for them to compete like this. It's not a district game for Swick. But again, since they haven't played since December 16th, there still might be a little bit of rust on them. I think this is the perfect time for Rend Lake to sneak up and beat Swick, while Swick is still trying to figure out how to knock off the rust from the holidays that just passed. So, with that being said, I'll give this to Swick, but I wouldn't be surprised if Rend Lake beats them. There you have it. This week's episode is in the books. A lot of good games coming up here on Wednesday and Saturday. Yes, I did mention that Lakeland played a game on Monday night. It's Tuesday as I'm recording this. It will go up later today. So it's just all about that timing-wise. But this episode has been fun to do. Next week or the week after, I'll have another special guest. I really enjoy those because I get to sit and pick people's brains that aren't just me, and it's just not me talking. So please let me know any other people that I should have on here. Again, I've had radio voices, I've had head coaches, I've had assistant coaches now. So should I have former players on? Let me know down in the comments. But that's going to do it for this week's episode. I will see you guys in the next one.